What up, fellow 141ers? We got Riley's not here today. He's out being busy, doing whatever Riley does. So I guess Mason's just gonna solo this shit today. So I can got a special video to you guys, or I guess kind of. I don't know. Maybe it's just for us. We're just gonna talk about a little show. Oh, who's this guy? I don't recognize this guy. You see the shadow? What?
I don't do that shit.
Okay.
Don't.
Okay. I don't. All right. This is Cinema Show.
Hello, welcome to the Cinema Show. I'm Riley Doherty. This is Mason Dredge, and today we are talking obviously about Breaking Bad. We got Bubba Wall here. He's got his Heisenberg shirt, and I am dressed like Jesse. A little backstory: I just got winter clothes because getting cold outside, and I didn't mean to look like Jesse, but now I do. So fuck it, it fits.
Bitch.
Now, today we're going to be talking primarily about the finale of Breaking Bad, not so much about the entire show, but we will get into that just because we ramble on and we get sidetracked.
Yeah.
So, basically, it's just a discussion about Breaking Bad, not quite a review, just kind of a normal discussion. So, therefore, we won't be giving a rating out at the end of this like we do with our other reviews. We're just going to be talking about it. And mind you, completely
spoilers out the dick.
Yeah, spoilers at the ass. If you have not seen Breaking Bad, which we really, really recommend that you do.
Don't pull none of that for a couple episodes of boring bullshit. You know you liked them.
Yeah. Yes. Don't.
Just watch the show. It's good.
If you have not, is my favorite show of all time.
It's honestly,
along with everyone else.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say my favorite, but it's definitely the best show I've ever seen. And
the greatest show since Sopranos.
Which none of us have seen Sopranos. So
I have.
Oh, you have? When did you start watching that?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I have seen a lot of Sopranos. And it's pretty good.
I haven't seen Sopranos. Start talking about Breaking Bad.
It's no Breaking Bad.
It's not Breaking Bad. It's not. This is Breaking Bad. This is Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad.
Probably. So, primarily we're talking about the finale here.
Felina.
Which, blood, tears, and meth.
Yeah, blood.
Blood, tears, and meth, right?
Fat, blood, meth, tears. So
what the fuck is this? Oh God. Okay. Disturbing pictures.
So this second 62nd episode overall, the final episode, obviously, and it. Found a pretty nice picture, and it starts off. So I guess we should give a little synopsis of the whole episode before we get into it. So it starts off. It's right at the end of Granite State, which was the previous episode. I don't know if you can see that, but it's Vince Gilligan flipping the bird. It's right off the end of the previous episode.
Turn up the brightness.
There, you can see now? Maybe not, but you know what it is. And so Walt's just he's seeing Gretchen and Elliot on TV, and he's like, I'm going to go talk to them. It starts off, he's getting in his car, and it's just this really, really long scene of Walt just warming the car up, and not a whole lot happens, but you just see, basically Bryan Cranston's amazing acting. You're just like, oh, that guy's got something to do.
This part?
Yeah.
Picture time.
So then he goes to...
he looks a lot like Hank there.
Yeah, he does, actually.
Like his eyes, mostly.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know, his mouth.
Yeah. So he goes and he talks to Elliot and Gretchen.
Gretchen and Elliot.
And it's a pretty cool scene because he just walks in there, and we think that he's there to kill him, but we're not entirely sure. And then basically what he tells him... Thank you. Basically what he tells him is he's like, I'm going to give you all the money I have left. You give that to my kids when Walter Jr. turns 18 because he won't take any of my money. And then he becomes Heisenberg for a little bit. If you don't give him the money, and he just points at him, and these two red dots come on him, and they're all like, oh shit.
That was a great part.
That was a pretty good part. I got the world's greatest assassins, and they're going to kill you. And then Walt gets in the car and drives away. And it wasn't actually the world's greatest assassins. It was just Skinny Pete and Badger, which it's nice that they
with laser
pointers, and it's nice that they put them in the final episode. Cause,
they give them something to do.
Yeah, and just because it's the last episode, they're fan favorites, so you gotta put them in there. So then he goes to see Skyler one last time, And that was a really, really good scene whenever he goes to see Skylar, because like she's talking to Marie on the phone, and Marie's all like, "Yeah, Walt's back in New Mexico. We don't know."
Watch the fuck out.
Yeah, watch the fuck out. And it's really cool because we just see Skylar and she's just standing there, and then she hangs up, and then the camera pans over, and Walt's in the kitchen with her, and they just kind of have this really emotional talk, and it ends with, I think, probably one of the best lines in the whole series, where Walt's just like, "Skylar, you need to understand," and she's like, "No, I don't."
She says, "If you tell me you did this for the family one more time,"
and he just stops her, and he's like, "I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it. It made me feel alive." And then Anna Gunn, a good actress, because her nose was snotting, and it kind of took me out of the scene. She's like,
I have to hear one more time that you did this for the family.
I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it. And I was really I was alive.
But that was a really sad thing, though, whenever Walt was like, "Can I see her one last time?" And he just goes in and just touches Holly's face, and then he watches Walt Jr. get off the bus and go into the house, and he just has this look on his face, and it's just like he knows this is the last time he's gonna see him.
He fucked up.
And that was a good scene because like, kind of, it's like, I mean, like Walt and Skylar will never like romantically love each other again, but in like that very last scene, Skylar remembers like, but Walt isn't like I don't love him, but I mean it's like he still is a person. And so,
she's like reminded of who he used to be.
Yeah, and then he goes and he meets up with So Professional.
Fucking whore.
He goes, because everybody remembers Todd, everybody's favorite creepy motherfucker and child murderer.
Fuck Todd.
And he's
fuck Todd.
I thought Todd was a pretty good secondary antagonist.
Yeah, no, he's a good antagonist.
Yeah,
and they did a good job of making him not like him.
Fuck him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And with Lydia, everybody is least interesting, not Gus. And they're talking.
Did you really see her as an
She wasn't.
Fuck me.
She wasn't.
Antagonist?
Yeah, she was, because she fucks Walt over in the end.
Yeah, in the end, but I never liked a moment she was on screen. And that's probably just me.
That's probably because she wasn't isn't interesting as a character.
She's not interesting.
But I mean,
kind of pretty good actress.
Yeah, very good actress.
Definitely hided her accent. Have you heard her?
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, she's very.
Guys,
got that
something else accent.
But I mean, she was an alright character. You know, that's the thing though about season 5 though, was physical antagonists didn't really matter. It was about Walt. The antagonist itself was Walt kind of having to deal. It was Walt's previous actions that kind of in a weird way were the antagonist, because that's what Walt had to deal with. And then these other characters just things that those actions brought on. But she goes and Todd's talking with her, and because as if in Granite State, so Jesse's a slave to Todd and Uncle Jack and the Nazis, and they're talking, and Leah's like, "We need better meth," and he's like, "Well, Jesse's getting better." And then Walt shows up, and he's just like, I've got
no fucking sympathy.
No sympathy at all.
In his fucking eyes.
Not at all.
That kind of killed me. You know, whenever they brought Jesse out and he was in chains and he just looked like a fucking animal.
But we'll get to
like a dog.
We'll get to that. We gotta get through this scene first. And then, and this is right after, I think. This happens, I think, right after.
Which are you talking about?
What?
Which scene are you talking about?
The scene.
This is the same scene, right?
No, the scene where the end where they bring him out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking about when he goes and meets Lydia and Todd.
Oh, okay. I totally fucked up. Okay.
And so they're talking, and Walt's like, "No, I came up with a new way to make meth, but we don't even have to use methylamine." And they're like, "Okay, you can go meet with Jack tonight." And then he gets up and leaves, and Todd's like,
"Actually, sorry to interrupt you. I heard like this one thing though, where it was like talking about like kind of like the plot holes of Breaking Bad,
mm-hmm.
and it was saying like chemically like you don't really need like methylamine."
No, you don't.
But they just put so much.
No, because they made it without methylamine in the first. You use the. Remember when they're talking about pseudo?
Yeah.
That's what they were using. They're using it with pseudoephedrine, or you can use methylene. They're the same. They do the same thing, but just They need the methamphetamine to make it. Basically, methamphetamine's better. It would be better meth. Pseudoephedrine is like yeah, whatever. Made in your mom's basement meth. Methamphetamine is like fucking.
I ain't drinking meth in my mom's basement.
I know. She always gets mad at us when we don't clean up. Todd's all like, "Are we really gonna work with Walt, Lydia?" And she's like, "Fuck no."
Yeah.
And
She's like, fuck that dude.
and then we see Walt out.
Fuck that dude.
You stop it.
What?
Fuck it, right? And then we see Walt
What
out.
was that?
I don't know.
It's like some alien voice.
And then we see Walt out in the desert. Remember that machine gun? He's doing something with it that
No,
involves.
he's not.
Yeah, he is. He's out in the desert with the.
Oh, yeah, he's building it.
Yeah, he's building this mechanism. And we're like, shit. We're like, what's he doing? So then he goes and he's.
I knew exactly what he was doing, though.
I mean, yeah.
Did you not?
I mean, I could
I thought it was
tell.
pretty obvious that he was gonna, like, put it in his car.
I mean, yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. Like, I knew what he's like. He's gonna use that. I didn't know exactly what was gonna happen. Anyway, so then he goes to where. Goes where all the Nazis are and.
asshole.
And Jack's all like, Walt, you got a fine head of hair. You look like shit, but you got a fine head of hair.
And Walt's like, fuck, thanks, dude.
And Walt's all like, and then so Jack's just like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you, Walt. And he's like, no, he's like, you're not better than me. You just, you got my old partner to cook your meth. And so, and we
Dude,
think.
why are you mixing up their voices?
I don't know.
You like completely. You did the Walt voice for Jack and the Jack voice for Walt.
I don't know. And so then they're out, and so. And we think, oh, Walt's just being all pissy before he dies, and so Jack's like, I'm gonna go bring up Jesse, because he's all, and like he was talking about earlier, and Jesse just comes up, and Jesse just looks fucking terrible.
Yeah, Jesse looks like a fucking dog, and Walt is just completely stoned.
Yeah, just doesn't give a shit.
No
Actually, I
emotion.
noticed that. I noticed Walt kind of did look kind of sad. No,
You think?
Yeah, I mean, Walt looks sad this entire episode, but I mean,
I don't know, he looked pretty stone faced. Like, I almost felt like he was like, fucking deserve it.
Actually, that might be true. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of thought he looked kind of sad, but I don't know. Either way, I mean, it's still either you can look at that scene either way. It's still fucking awesome. But so then he just kind of looks at him, and Jesse just looks terrible, and he's all chained up. And then Walt just kind of looks at him, and he yells and tackles him, and he takes out his car alarm, and he
on purpose.
Because we think that they're gonna fight, but no, he's just
Yeah, I
he's
thought they were
saving.
gonna. I was like, whoa, shit. Oh.
But no, he's saving Jesse's life because the trunk pops open and the machine gun starts firing. He fucking kills everyone, and then what happens? And then Todd gets up and he's like, Mr. White, and Jesse with his chains just fucking chokes him out. It's awesome. And then,
I love that crack.
oh yeah, it was because Todd is such a piece of shit. And just that crack of the neck was just like
So satisfying. It was like the final straw was just.
And then
ripped.
Jack is over there. He got hit. He's bleeding out. Also, Walt got hit, but it's not as prevalent. And Todd's just sitting there. He's got not Todd, Uncle Jack. He's just like, you kill me.
He's like, wait.
He's like, you kill me. You're never gonna know where the rest of your money is. And just
Puts his cigarette in his mouth. He's like, well, you.
just
And his head exploded.
It's so just because like how because Uncle Jack killed Hank mid sentence, so Walt killed him mid sentence. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Walt stands up and he gives the gun to Jesse and slides it over to him, and Jesse picks it up and
Points at him. He says,
you want this. And then Jesse's just like,
he's like, I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not gonna
Unless
do it.
you
say
tell me you want me
it.
to do this.
And then Walt's just like, I want this. And then Jesse looks down, he sees
Then
Walt.
do it your goddamn
He's
self.
bleeding,
Do it
and he's just
fucking
like,
self.
do it yourself. Which was good because that was always the thing. That was
like him escaping.
well, because
Walt's
it's like because throughout the whole
control.
series, because I feel like Walt did feel for Jesse at times, but there's a lot of times where Walt would just use Jesse to kind of to just get what he wanted. And in that final scene, I feel like it's kind of like Jesse finally kind of figures it out. He's like, I'm done doing what Walt wants. Walt has to deal with what he wants on his own.
He didn't just figure it out.
Well, no, I mean he figured it out before, but he's just like, for once, he's just
fucking
like,
fed up with it.
for once, he's like, I'm not gonna let you do this to me, Walt. And that's another thing that's kind of sad is like Jesse's gonna live the rest of his life being like, Walt just used me, and that's always the thing about Breaking Bad is like it's kind of confused motives. It's like, and that is true. Walt did just always use Jesse, but he did. I mean,
I'm gonna interrupt you.
he did.
That
care.
reminded me of the point. Now, this is what, in my opinion, is the saddest thing about Breaking Bad of all. This is the saddest. It wasn't even a specific moment. It was just how I perceived the show and how I watched it, and was how if you go back, I think season 4, I'm pretty sure, whenever Walt had gotten beat up by Jesse, and he was back in his home, and Walt Jr. had met up with him, and Walt Sr. tells him the story about how he saw his dad dying, and that's how he remembered him. He remembered him in a hospital bed, not being able to respond to anything, and just being lifeless. And he said that he wants to be the best father he can for Walt Jr., and that's how he wants to be remembered by Walt Jr. But by the end of the show, whenever you have the events that happen in, was it Ozymandias?
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias. Whenever Walt and Skylar fight,
Oh god.
and Walt Jr. defends his mother and sees Walt as a monster, and Walt Jr. thinks that Walt murdered his uncle, and he just despises his father now, and that's what kills me inside with these characters, is that is how Walt is going to be remembered by his son.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart.
Just like everybody's gonna remember Walt was just like this terrible guy, and at times
Yeah.
he was, but I mean Walt, you know, even when he like reveals,
He'd gone through 40 or 50 years.
yeah, even
of
when he
his life
reveals
as
like
a
his
good
true
man.
his true motives, you're still kind of like, I still not really mad at him because you kind of understand. He's lived 50 years of a pretty life,
Yeah,
and
of
he's
a
like, now
rich
I can
life,
actually.
basically.
He's like, now I can actually be something, and it's just in a
And
sense,
that
it's kind of
something
like.
hurts everyone else.
Yeah, and it's just and so to finish up the synopsis of the episode, Walt's walking out, Jesse's there, and Jesse walks up to Todd's El Camino, and they just look at each other. Well, actually, first what happens? Lydia calls Walt, or she calls Todd's
Todd.
cell phone, and
Walt picks it up.
he picks it up,
You feeling down?
and she's like, and she looks like shit, and she's like, what? He's like, yeah, you know, you always put that fake sugar shit in your coffee. Well, I put that ricin that we've fucking been trying to kill someone with for 3 goddamn seasons. I
Yeah.
put it in there, and now you're dying. And she's just like, oh shit. And he's like, bye, and just hangs up. And then Jesse just looks over at him, and Walt looks at him, and they just have these looks at each other.
This
They
final
just stare at
look.
each other, and it's not a look of like friendship or like good times. They just look at each other, and they just kind of nod and just kind of thank each other. And then Jesse gets in the car, drives away, bursts through the gate, and the last we ever see.
Jesse almost, I felt, gave him a look of, like, final respect.
Yeah, actually, that's a good. Yeah, he just kind of looks at him, just like.
You know, like, it wasn't like a hateful stare, and it wasn't a friendly stare either.
You
You
just
know?
kinda, like,
it
scroll
was
back.
just like acceptance,
Mhm.
you know, for where they had gotten.
And then the last that we see of Jesse, he's just driving away. He's just like crying and
That's my
screaming.
favorite shot. The last
It is.
episode.
It's really, really good. And he's just screaming and crying just because he's free and he can do. And we don't know what happens to Jesse, and that's what I like.
That's the best thing, is
We
that
don't
Jesse
know-
gets away.
And we don't know where he does. We don't know what he does. He gets away and he has a chance to do something better with his life, which is really what I think
That's
Jesse's.
the best way they could have ended
Which I really think is
story.
what Jesse's overall kind of story arc was just that he wants to be something more than what he is. But he just can't find a way to do it. And now he's been through the worst that he possibly can, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to fuck around anymore. And then the end of the show, we're in like the last 2 minutes. Walt's he lifts up his jacket, just blood everywhere, and he just puts it down, and he looks over, and there's this the Quonset hut where the meth lab is. He just walks over there, and he's just touching everything, and he just he looks happy, and then as he starts walking away,
Yeah, like Vince Gilligan said, in Lord of the Rings terms, he died with his precious.
he's walking. The Baby Blue by Badfinger starts playing, which we'll talk about that song probably. And he's walking away, and he touches the meth thing. I'm not good with words, but he touches it, and he's looking at it, and you can see the police are coming, and his hand falls down, there's blood, and the final shot of the whole series is it's a close-up of Walt's face, and then we slowly just pan up to the ceiling, and just the police come in, and there's no sound, there's a song, obviously, and then we just get there, and we stop, and then we just fade to black, executive producer Vince Gilligan for the last time, and it's so fucking gratifying to get to that moment.
Yeah.
And
At
it's
the end of the
just,
series, it's done.
it's done, and you're just like it's 3 or 4 in the morning, Riley and I just sitting there on my bed in our underwear, and we're just like,
Hey, we don't need to reveal that detail.
they need to know how we watch movies. And it's just 3 in the morning, we just kind of stopped, and we looked at each other, and we're like, yeah, And it's just, I mean, and it's so sad after it ended, but a good kind of sad though. You know, because a lot of times I'll get to the end of
Satisfying.
Yeah,
Not
it was satisfying, but it's like it was sad.
I like that.
It was satisfying
Satisfying.
because like you're like that was a very good ending, but you're just kind of sad to say
Probably
goodbye to the
okay.
characters, to know that I don't know, to know that this experience is over. But I mean, it's fucking.
It's the most satisfying thing about it is having it end well.
Yeah, which
You know,
is a lot.
It's
You can't
ending well is better than
then
continuing badly.
because I was watching Talking Bad. I was watching part of the
It
Felina.
makes no sense.
Yeah,
Talking bad.
I can't wait until they do it for Mad Men because I wonder what they're gonna call it. Be like
Talking man.
Talking Man or whatever. I
It's
don't know.
like obviously
knock that bullshit off AMC. But
talking mocking mad men.
yeah, and because Chris Hardwick said that to Vince Gilligan, he's just like, first off, I want to thank you, Mr. Ryan Gosling.
Hey girl.
Or, hey girl.
Hey girl.
Hey girl. He's like, he just told me, he's like, I want to thank you, Vince Gilligan, for having a.
Hey girl. Can we cuddle yet?
Can we cuddle yet?
Hold on, I need to take some time out to do this.
Okay, it's worth it. Ryan Gosling.
Hey girl. Hey. Oh, for a second I thought it was like a U instead of an I in girl. I was gonna be that's too ridiculous. Hey girl. Who cares what they think? Just be yourself. That's how Ryan Gosling talks, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey girl. Tell me everything about your day. Hey girl. I want to toss that salad.
I wrote that one.
No, you didn't.
Going right back in. He's talking about, he's like, first, thanks Vince Gilligan. I think everybody agrees with this for giving a finale that actually answered questions and resolved things. Because I don't know why.
Yes.
I don't know
Cop.
why they always think.
Lost.
Yeah. Oh, not gonna, why? I don't know why. Or X-Files. Fucking everybody. Not get off with
How did
that.
X-Files end?
What?
Fucking hell.
Oh, it ended with like spoiler for X-Files too. Mulder came back from the aliens and he's like, they're gonna invade us, and everyone's like, we don't believe you, Mulder. So it just ended with him and Scully being like, well, the aliens are gonna probably kill us all, but we can hope for a better future. And I'm like, I didn't watch 9 fucking seasons of this for maybe we'll not all die in 10 years. Like, fuck you, Chris Carter. But and a lot of shows do that though, because they think like, oh, fans are so attached that they'll like it if we just give them all. You decide what happened ending. No, we don't fucking like that. We just feel like you were lazy and you bitched out at the end. Vince Gilligan. I don't like it. I mean, it depends how they do it. If you do that well, I don't mind that. But a lot of times they're just like, what the fuck happened? It's shitty. But now we get on to just kind of general overall feelings, which we've already been doing, but just kind of ready to get more focused on that.
Okay. Let's talk more general Breaking Bad because this is a Breaking Bad discussion. This is not strictly the final half season or the final episode.
This is just kind of.
This is just a general Breaking Bad discussion, and I want to talk about what we did and did not like about Breaking Bad as a whole. What I did like was the evolution of characters. It's definitely, I think, I could almost argue that, and I'm not the most, how would you say it? I'm not the most, I haven't seen every movie, I don't know about all the classics and all the great movies that have ever been made, but I just, from my personal experience, what I've seen in Breaking Bad is probably one of, if not the best character study I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Because you take a character, and I've never seen this from any other movie or TV show ever, basically. I mean, you could argue Fight Club, but I mean you could argue it, but I've never seen before Breaking Bad a character who is your protagonist, and by the end he is your antagonist.
Yeah,
I've never seen that, and it blows me away.
I really like that.
That Vince Gilligan pulled it off so well.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a smooth transition. It wasn't like, he's all of a sudden this Heisenberg.
But yeah, because I was pointing out like the pacing of the whole show. Because a lot of times you get shows like this, and the writer's just like, oh, let's fucking get some more crazy shit happening. And a lot of the Breaking Bad episodes, content-wise, are kind of dull. Like a lot of Breaking Bad episodes are just 45 minutes of characters just talking, but
that helps
the dialogue
in the end.
but the dialogue is always written so well, and that's what that you don't care. It's just like, all right, and then with that, and that makes the violent scenes so much better when you've sat through 3 episodes.
It's almost like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna say sat through. That you've enjoyed 3 episodes of talking, and then you get, a guy you get Hank fighting the cartel, the henchman killing, or shit, I don't even know. The whole last like 3 episodes of season 4.
Walter White, running over the drug dealers.
Yeah,
and telling Jesse to run.
It's so much so good, and I just like that the writers they were patient. They were like, okay, we don't have to pull all our cards at once, and that's what always because we kind of got the way we watched Breaking Bad. It was through Netflix and like DVDs, so we didn't really have to wait.
Yeah.
Week to week, but people who did, that's what they always kind of said. They're like, yeah, it's so nerve-wracking because the show's just so unpredictable, and just like having to wait week through week, like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
And even with me having a lot of the show spoiled for me before I watched it, I would still get the parts where I was like, oh god, what the fuck's gonna happen? Even though like I knew it was gonna happen, I would still
freak
out.
What happened.
I would freak out. And then other thing, I'll let you get back to a second. I want to point out, I really liked how cinematic the show was. I think that's a big thing that differentiates it, even from a lot of the shows on AMC. Because
that's how so many people can get into it and gripped into it, and not many people actually realize it. I don't think maybe not the general Breaking Bad audience. They don't usually talk about it as much as people like us who really analyze film and really take it as art and really put the time and the thought into thinking about all these different movies and TV shows. But whenever you look at Breaking Bad, it is the most cinematic TV show there has ever been. And I guess you could argue that, but
because
fuck it.
the way it makes it so different though is you have stuff on HBO which that looks really cinematic, but it just looks like a movie, whereas Breaking Bad looks like a really, really well done movie. I liken it to a Tarantino movie. Because Tarantino always has little interesting shots, and Breaking Bad's full of that. It has all those object POVs, which did get a little unnecessary at times, but overall they
kind of like when with Jesse was scrubbing stuff.
Yeah, or I just remember as we were watching it, the Rabid Dog Confessions, the 3rd episode of the final 8 seasons. Whenever Jesse figures out that it was Walt who poisoned Brock, and he's walking with the gas can, and we have a POV shot from the gas can, and I was just I thanks, I wanted to know what the gas can was seeing, but still pretty cool. And then on the color palette of the movie, that's the only thing.
It's definitely if you're a visual,
if you're a director, you got to remember, or just you like film, color color itself can just get the tone across. Well, you just have to know. You just gotta use color, just use it.
You gotta know what you're doing with it. A lot of projects kind of take it for granted what they have visually, and you can't. You don't want to do that. That makes your movie look bland and just not good. You need to use what you have to your advantage and really exploit it.
Just those desert shots were always just so beautiful.
Especially with just Breaking Bad and other things like 007 Skyfall.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
They used what they had to their advantage, and they exploited it so well and implemented it so well into the story that it really added to what the characters were doing.
The Tahajali, the episode right before Hank dies, that whole last scene where they're just out in the desert, and the way the color just works with everything, and they would do that a lot of times. They'd color coordinate what the actors would wear. It's just, it all looks so good. And then, basically, it's hard for me to talk about what I liked about Breaking Bad, because just for the most part, it's kind of everything. But there are a couple moments that when we get to what we didn't like, we'll bitch about, especially I will. But, just fucking most, 99% of the show, I don't got any problem with. It's the writing from, there's maybe 3 episodes, I would say, out of the whole series I didn't like. Taking his glasses off. Other than that, just everything.
Let me tell you right here, right now, my honest opinion, what I didn't like, Skylar's issues. Call me crazy.
I'm not gonna say Skylar's issues, but that
I did not give a shit about Skylar's problems. Well, I did like Skylar's interactions with Walt and how she dealt with Walt turning into this man that she didn't know. That was interesting. But things with Ted and...
Well, Ted, though, was pretty important story-wise. You just had to wait for that one to pay off a lot. But, like, one thing, like, I remember when we were watching it, whenever that whole thing with, like, Marie stealing the tiara...
Oh my god, I want to shoot myself in the
We
face
were watching
when I
that, it's
watched
like 2 in the morning, and he's just like, why the fuck do we need to see this? And
Yeah, it
which
was...
later they worked it back to being like, it was kind of like a reflective thing for, like, Walt says, like, well, you know, she's just doing something for her family. And it's like, oh, because that's what Walt's doing. But it's so, fucking boring.
It felt... See, and, you know, like, as great as of a show that Breaking Bad is, it still can't escape some of the problems that television have.
Yeah.
Like filler episodes, which it did have a lot of.
I wouldn't say, well, not a lot, but there were, I mean, season 3 had a lot of filler. Which, I mean, I know a lot of people like Fly. I had trouble watching because we didn't have subtitles and we kept talking, but I feel like probably whenever we go through and watch it individually, and we can watch it with subtitles, be able to really watch the episode, we'll probably like it more. But Fly was kind of boring, and then, like, Keflowski, which that was... It was the episode. I can name them all. I'm not proud of that. Actually, I am proud of that because all the Breaking Bad episodes.
Destruction over or something over ABQ. Crash over ABQ.
737 down over ABQ, which that's a really bad. That's what I really liked about season 2 too. Was how season 2 I think was really well. First, okay, actually, let's talk about what we didn't. We'll wrap up what we didn't like, and then I'll ask you what your favorite season was. I'll ask you to tell you what mine was.
Do we want to do favorite moments?
Yeah, let's do that too. And then we'll talk about why Baby Blue is good. And then I think we can kind of end, just give final thoughts, and then I guess we can kind of end it there because I think we've covered everything. So basically what he said. Although I found Skylar's problems more interesting, kind of as the series progressed, and she kind of stopped playing the stereotypical bitchy wife.
She got fat.
Yeah, actually,
What's up with that?
about I don't know. Season 4 was actually where I found Skylar to be a really interesting character. Because she was, I mean, Walt kind of, his influence, because Skylar kind of becomes a criminal, not in the traditional sense, but I mean, she helps Walt out, and she's very willing to do it, and she knows how to do it.
Money laundering.
Yeah, money laundering, and then, but season 2, there was one moment I did like in season 1 or 2, wherever, oh yeah, because Skylar blows up on Marie, and then Hank's all like, Skylar, you can't do that. And that's a Jack's voice. And Skylar just yelled. Skylar had some pretty good monologues actually throughout the whole series, and she yells at him. She's like, Hank, like, I'm pregnant with a baby that we don't have the money for. My handicapped son won't talk to me, and my husband with cancer keeps disappearing. She's like, yeah, I'm not gonna be in a good fucking mood all the time, Hank. And that was I think you were asleep for that one. No, I was, and I rewatched it, which was most of the first 2 seasons. And then, and like filler episodes and like that, like Keflowski, this episode in season 3, it was right after Fly. It was the episode was like whenever Marie asked them to start paying for Hank's hospital bills. That was such a boring episode and so much filler that I just I thought I'd fallen asleep. Like when I saw the end of it, I was like, I asked her that, I'm like, did I fall asleep? That can't be a whole fucking episode. And he was like, no, it was. And I'm like, okay. And I sound like I was being really harsh on it there, and I'm not really, but it's
not harsh. It's a perfectly reasonable. If something's boring, it's fucking boring.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It doesn't intrigue you, and it doesn't apply
Yeah.
as much to the series as you'd like it to.
But other than that, I mean, that's really just, there's a couple of boring episodes. And then I felt like I would have liked Jesse to be in the last final 8 episodes a little bit more.
Yes,
but
I felt there was a lot of Jesse lacking.
But the problem,
Jesse.
But the problem was, I can kind of get over that because Jesse, character arc-wise, kind of had gotten to a point where, because the first half of season 5 ends with Jesse finally being like, I'm done. And so, you know, Jesse honestly really wouldn't have had that much to do because he's not in the business anymore.
Right.
But he gets sucked in later, so I can understand them not. And I like that too, that they were like, we understand fans are going to want a lot of Jesse, but we don't need him in the story right now.
Yeah,
so.
it would just kind of feel forced that they had added more than he needed to do.
Plus, Jesse probably gets... I still like the way Walt's story ends better, but Jesse gets, I would say, one of my favorite character resolutions of any character ever. So, I mean, he kind of makes up for it. And other than that, I really say that's...
a resolution for his character.
What?
I'm going to say it right now, Jesse's my favorite character.
Walt would be my favorite character, but Jesse is a hard... Walt's...
I feel Jesse is the hero of Breaking Bad.
Jesse is the hero, because Jesse's kind of like... He's almost kind of like Walt's Robin.
He's sucked in there.
Yeah, in a way,
He's not-
because I was reading something. Sorry to interrupt you. I was reading something.
Great.
For people.
Thanks.
People always
That
bitch.
apology really just hit me over.
People always bitch about Robin and Batman, and he's like, no, they need Robin because without Robin, Batman just turns into a dick, and that's kind of what happens. There's a lot of moments, especially early on Breaking Bad, where Walt will kind of get full of himself, he'll start being a dick, and then something will happen with Jesse, and he'll be like, okay, I need to calm.
He'll come back to Earth.
He's like, I need to calm the fuck down. So, I mean, and Jesse's one of those really interesting characters because you wouldn't, if you look at season 1 Jesse, I don't think anybody was guessing he would be where he was on by the final episode.
Yeah, no,
whereas
definitely.
Walt, you see
Grow his character.
Yeah, Walt, you see him and you're like, okay, we can probably tell where he's gonna go. And sure, you can. I mean, but still, that's what I like too. Is you knew where it was gonna go, but you were still like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesse, you were like, I mean, you didn't really know where Jesse was gonna go. But I mean, overall, yeah. I mean, that's the only things I didn't like about Breaking Bad was just a couple episodes were boring. But I mean, overall, the whole series is just fucking insane. And honestly, and I've said this before, I am legitimately.
Most of season 3 was boring.
Most of season 3 was not very good. Well, season 3 began.
I wouldn't say boring, just
not as interesting.
not
Season
really.
3 started off extremely strong, and then it stopped for a little while. But it
Wasn't
ended,
Gus introduced in season 3?
End of season 2.
Shit.
Season 3 starts off really, really strong. It gets kind of boring in the middle because they were just kind of like, where do we move on from here? And then, but the final 2 episodes are fucking great. Half
Of the
measures
series or
of
season 3?
Season 3.
Yeah.
Half measures and full measures, really good episodes, great ending. But yeah, so I mean, Breaking Bad, and I was thinking about this. Like, I feel honored to have like just been able to watch this show.
Yeah, no. Okay, here, I just wanted to make this point across, and this really doesn't have to do with, like, my opinions on the show, I guess. I don't know. But this is mainly about the Blu-ray set of Breaking Bad, the complete series, and how I've seen, like, I've gone and, you know, looked at it because I got a huge boner over it, but I can't buy it. So I'll look at comments about it, and I see a lot of people complaining. You know, and they're like, what's this bullshit? $200? That can't be.
I'd pay that shit.
Can't. For breaking, what? $200? That's bullshit. That's outrageous. And everybody's talking about how they should lower the price. And that's complete bullshit. Because, okay, here, let me just talk about this. How much do you think it costs to make one episode of Breaking Bad? A whole fuck ton of money. That's how much. Okay? It could have, you know, 10 times what what you have to pay for the complete series of every episode and all the extras that they filmed and edited and put all their hard work into the costume designers, everything.
I think that's what a lot of people are forgetting. It's not it's a collector's edition. It's not like that's what it's more for. It's not like you know, it's like I'll bring up like now with games, you know. You can buy $60 just the game, $80 game, some books and shit. Then there's like a $150 version, comes on a big ass box. You get fucking all this extra shit that you don't need, and you get the game. That's what this is. It's the big box, all the extra shit you don't, but you do need it because it's all fucking awesome. I mean, what is it? It's like
It's a necessity.
It's like what? Like every single
episode,
behind the scenes, inside this episode, every short, every fucking. Like all the webisodes, episode obviously, and Blu-ray, so it's already more expensive, and
every episode in the highest quality.
Quality you can get. Also, a shit ton of shit that nobody's seen before. There's like a 2-hour documentary of the entire series on there. It's just a completely new 2-hour documentary, and then you give a fucking apron. So pretty cool.
Yeah, you get a fucking Los Polos Hermanos apron. What the fuck is your guys' problem?
I would pay $250 just for that. I paid $30 for this, so I mean, and it's worth it. I'm not even mad.
It's not. I can't. How can you guys justify complaining about $200? Okay, it's not.
It's everything they've made in the past 6 years in a
And
pretty
think about
badass looking barrel.
How much money AMC has put into advertising, getting you to watch this, putting it on Netflix even, probably cost them money, and fucking, they just did all that hard work, put it out there. Sony made it. The fact that it was fucking made should, cost you $200.
Yeah.
Just for the ability to fucking watch it because of how great it is. It's better. Okay, I'm gonna say this. It's better than most movies
Yeah.
for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, there's been the few exceptions for, you know, every other year for me personally where I'm just like, I will never forget that movie, you know, where it's like a really great standout film. But this, I will not forget Breaking Bad.
Mm-mm.
I will not.
I will. Yeah. I mean, really. I mean, so good. And so now I think let's move on. So, what was your favorite season?
Favorite season was season 4.
I get a lot of people are gonna say that. I actually, which I can. You say what? Explain. I guess.
Okay, I'm thinking season 4 because so much character development with
Mhm.
Gus. I love the character of Gus.
Mhm.
I think he was.
Well,
You could almost say that he was almost another hero of Breaking Bad.
actually, that's what I think a lot.
Because I often don't think of Gus as the villain. I think of him actually as the good guy. You know, he's a sympathetic. Of course, he's doing bad things. He's making meth. You know, he's killing people that he wants to. You know,
Yeah.
just to keep his business alive. But he's so efficient and he's honestly nice. Okay.
Yeah, and everything.
The only reason Walter. Shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry. I'm at a point.
The only reason Walter had problems with Gus was Walter's complete fault.
Yeah.
Walter got in over his head and thought that Gus was having a problem with him, thought that he should have more of a name and more glory, and he just got in over his head.
Yeah.
And Gus was like, dude, fucking, if you don't stop like fucking around with my business, I'm gonna kill you, you know, because that's what we do. Criminals.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Season 4 is probably my second favorite. And that's everything. I mean, it was just so, and it goes from like this really kind of slow beginning, but then probably last like, more than like you get to that middle point in the series, and it just fucking grabs you by the throat, and it doesn't let up until that final end, till that ending. And that's what I really like about, obviously spoilers for the last episode, or for the last of season 4, Face Off, where I like how when Gus dies, that's not the end of the episode. I like that it goes on, and then you get to the even bigger, like, oh shit moment, that it was Walt who poisoned Brock. Because
Yes.
you get to that point where you're like, okay, maybe Walt, it's like, okay, like you point, like, everybody's in a good place, you know, Gus is gone, everybody's safe, everybody's happy, yeah, that final
And
shot.
then
You're like, oh my god, no! You're like,
No.
Walt's not better off.
Yeah.
But yeah, season 4 is really good. I would say my favorite season is actually season 2, because, and that is I said my own name. A lot of it is also because that's the one we spent the most time watching. Because because we started watching it in November of like last year, and then we would watch it kind of like 2 episodes every time we'd hang out. And then once we got to which it was the first time we hung out in the summer, we finished season 2, and then we just kind of blasted through the rest of the series. And I think maybe that's why I like season 2 the most, was because that one took us the longest. And also, I felt like that one, I'm not gonna say it was the best written, but I felt like that one, in the sense of like how Breaking Bad's always been really good. Like it always kind of had a very strong sense of like, okay, we're going here. I feel like season 2 did a really good job of that, especially with the 737 down over ABQ, which the episode titles, 4 of them. First one, 737, you have one called Down, one called Over, the last one's ABQ.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Or wait, well, actually, I'll finish and then you. It was foreshadowing the plane crash at the end. I saw that one because if you look back at season 2, everything in season 2 was caused by something else that happened in season 2. It was all just one big domino effect that ends with with Skyler leaving him, and then Walt inadvertently causes a plane crash. And I felt like a big focus of season 2 was the consequences of Walt's actions. And then I like that because it's before, because like Vince Gilligan always said, Mr. Chips to Scarface. And season 1 is Mr. Chips, and then season 3 starts to become Scarface. But season 2, he was in this really weird middle where he kind of had to it was a lot of moral struggle.
It was the most transition.
Yeah, I like that. Now, what was your point?
I was gonna say about season 2. I think it was right. Yeah, season 2. The pink teddy bear.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
What?
It was really intriguing at first. Okay, the first time I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck?" I was like looking at you. I was like, "Do you fucking what the hell is this?" I don't even know how, because it was so confusing and such an image too.
Mhm.
It was just such a still image that you just could not what the hell.
Yeah.
It was so different from everything else. But then I thought as it got to the end of the season and we figured out what that was, I was like,
I liked it.
It was something from it.
But,
you know,
yeah.
I
can understand.
I didn't like them putting so much mystery behind that to have such a little.
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah.
that's not a big complaint. It's just me.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna wrap this up because this is getting to be like an hour-long video.
Who cares? It's Breaking Bad.
Well, I know.
And it's gonna be edited.
Yeah, well, I know, but anyway. So final moments or favorite moment?
Favorite moment. The ending of season 4.
With
and I know I said
just
I
that
love
idea.
season 4, but
Just like the
with
whole episode, or
with
just...
the song, like the final minutes
Oh yeah.
of season 4,
Was it-
the
was-
last episode. Pretty much like after he said, I won.
What happened?
I won.
We touched the walls of the city streets and didn't explain. Sadly showed us our ways. I've never asked him why. Cast down, it was heaven sent in. To the church, no intent to repent. On my knees, just to cry.
Yeah,
That's like my favorite moment in Breaking Bad. The Black song starts up. I'm like, oh my god! It's the perfect song.
And it's because that's a really good song. Because when you listen to it, you get this sense of like finality, and you're like, and then you get to that final shot.
Yeah, the shot that blew me away.
It didn't, because that was like, can I tell a story really quick and then I'll get back to it?
You knew?
Well, yeah, I already knew that, but it was funny because I didn't want to spoil it for him, so we're getting to that, and he's like,
you were watching me as I watched
he's getting to it, and he's like, whenever Walt's like, Gus poisoned Brock, and Riley's just like, actually, I'm kind of glad because I've been looking for a reason to not like Gus, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, Gus is an asshole, and then we get to that, and he's just like, whoa, and I'm just like, yeah, crazy, but
yeah, no. Whenever I saw that, whenever it started zooming in, and it was like Lily of the Valley, I was like, no.
Yeah, he did. He leaned back in his chair and was quiet. And he's just like, "That's how you end a fucking season." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Oh my god, that was my favorite moment. It gave me chills. Was perfect song.
Yeah.
Whoever chose that song
Did a good fucking job.
I'll marry you. I'll suck your dick, or I'll touch your butt.
I'd say my favorite moment. God, I don't know. Like, I don't want to bitch out and just say like I have so many, but fucking I do though. There's so many moments. There's the opening, the teaser for the first episode. There's This Is Not Meth, Stay Out of My Territory. Dude, I love This Is Not Meth.
This Is Not Meth is overrated.
I fucking love it. There's the run.
Sorry guys.
This is not meth.
There's fucking.
Also,
I am
the one who knocks, overrated.
I really like it, but he makes a good point. It makes
Out
no
of
sense.
context, it's a dumb fucking line.
Yeah,
It's a corny ass line out of context.
In
And
context.
sometimes in context.
In context, I'd get a boner heat, but
I don't.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
I'm neutral.
I like it. It's a good line. And
I'm
then
fucking
Gus
Poland, right?
What?
Which country was like neutral in World War II?
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
But Hitler was helping him out though, so that's a different podcast. Maybe probably not, but.
History edition.
I coughed when I did that. When Gus dies, like he says, the opening to season 5, even though the rest of that was the train robbery, pretty good. The ending to the first half of season 5, and then it's the whole last 8 episodes. But if I really did have to pick, I guess I would say the final shot of Breaking Bad is just, it's just
Don't be
like
that guy.
no, but it is though. It's just like I'm like fuck yeah. Like when I think of that. When I think of Breaking Bad, I'm just like that's just an image. It's like everything's come full circle. Walt's laying bleeding to death in a meth lab, and he doesn't give a shit.
Is that like the first image that comes into your mind whenever you think Breaking Bad?
I mean, I think of that scene, but. Yeah.
I think of the underwear and the gun, honestly.
Actually, yeah, I can see that. And then,
Or at least just like RV in a desert.
yeah, and then Baby Blue didn't like it at first, but then I felt like it was picked more just to give me a good feeling at the end. But then you listen to the lyrics and you think about it, and it matches up perfectly. Because especially with the lines, I guess I got what I deserved, and then just talking about how this guy who kind of left this girl that he loved alone for too long, but he's back together with her, and that's what Walt was like. He's back in his meth lab and he's happy. So I mean,
Yes.
breaking.
Yes.
So
100% backing you up. Yes.
and one final sentence, just I think from both of us, Breaking Bad. You know,
Yes.
yes.
2 thumbs up.
Watch Breaking Bad.
This is not Walter Whitman is Walter White.
You know, whenever I think Breaking Bad, I think, Now, all of you, sit in your homes, sit next to your radiators, sit down with a nice cold beer, if you're a minor, a nice cold milk, maybe, and put on some Breaking Bad and have a good time. From me to you, I wish you a happy holiday.
Bitch.